Good morning. It is Motivational Monday with Maureen. At least we can see the sun today. Aren't you so happy? I know I am. I know I sounded like I was whining last week, but sorry. I gave you tools. I used my own tools and I gave you tools to help you with that if you felt like I did. But the sun's shining and it's a new week and I have some motivation for you this week. I have been in, I stay in some books and then I cross-reference and look around in other books. So I ended up in Matthew and I was reading the Sermon on the Mount. And he's teaching them, Jesus is teaching them how to live in God's kingdom. If you're God's people, you have to know how to live in God's kingdom. There are kingdom principles, there's kingdom rules. And the one that really stood out to me is because they asked him, they said, hey, they were a people that lived by the law and what the prophets said, and they said, well, out of those 10, Jesus, what's the biggest one? I don't know. Maybe they were thinking, which one do I really want to keep? Or I don't know. Why would they ask him that? What's the greatest? Because there was only 10. Seems to me that's pretty little, but who can keep even those 10? So they wanted to know what the greatest. And what does Jesus say? Well, in Matthew 22, 37 through 40, they ask him and he says, and you all know this, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. That's what he says. But then he adds this one, and this is what I'm talking about today, is he said the second one is love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, well, that took me right to, when I was a little girl, I was taught the golden rule. I don't know if you hear much about the golden rule these days, but you know what the golden rule is. Jesus said it. He said that whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them. And then he adds this, for this sums up the law and the prophets. He was telling them again in another way that the golden rule is, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Do to them as you would have them do to you. So I just want to encourage you today, bring that back to the forefront of your mind. Oh, I have another scripture, of course, from Galatians. I loved this one. He says, Paul writes that for all the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one, love your neighbor as yourself. Again, encouragement. So encouragement this week, do unto others as you want them to do to you. If somebody treats you bad, stop a minute and say, hey, I wouldn't want to be treated back bad. So I'm going to treat them like I want to be treated. And then pray for them or help somebody because, maybe sometime you're going to need help too. But again, we do this out of God's love for us. We are his people. We want to look like his people. So there you go. There's some encouragement. I love you guys. Look at all my snow. That's my fence. That's almost not there anymore. Okay, you guys, I love you. I love you, and I'll see you next week.